Looks like it's Fiden's night.
It's Fiden's.
Oh shit!
Every night's a Fiden's night over here at the Bennett household.
Not one that you don't have yet, though.
Ooh. Flexing?
What's up, dog? What's up, dog? Oh yeah. Did I tell you guys they were pouring Fidens down at Brewhouse?
Were they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the triple Jasper. They were pouring that shit. It ran out.
Oh my!
It ran out quick.
Damn.
Quick.
I'm sure.
It was gone.
Yeah, that's velvet. Stuff is crazy.
Yeah, Pete. That tent was 20 deep.
Was there a Fiden's dude there, or dudette?
No, it was a brew. I mean, I recognize most of the folks that were pouring. They were either like Great Notion folks, or brew host folks, or just like normal folks that were kind of in the area, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cheers, you guys. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming
cheers.
on again,
Cheers.
Bolino. Always great to have you.
Thanks.
Cheers, Bolino.
See how you embarrass yourself tonight.
Yeah, always, that's how I roll.
Classic.
Fucking Bolino.
All right, well, let's kick things off. I'm drinking DDH Jasper from Fiden's tonight, so double dry hop Jasper, and all Citra IPA, but this one has double amount of hops, so super flavorful, super saturated, 7.8%. Jasper is a double IPA that they do like once a month, and it's so good. It's always amazing, and I feel like it's only gotten better over the years. Just really creamy, juicy, just a fantastic all-around IPA. So this is even better.
Yeah,
That's-
they've been brewing that in a different bunch of varieties a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Looks nice and thick and juicy.
Oh yeah, top notch.
Look at that right there.
So
Boom.
cloudy.
Orange juice,
I love that color.
extra pulp.
So I'm hitting the. I'm gonna stay with that theme on the Fidens, and I'm hitting the rose. And this one's
Nice.
a double IPA. It's just absolutely delicious. It's a, Citra Galaxy mix of hops, and this one comes in at 8.2, and it's fucking legit.
That one is fantastic. One of my favorites that they do.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites as well. It's
2 or
like
3 times a
always
year.
really, really good.
Yeah.
It's just it's like a staple. You know when this one's coming out, you
It's a
want
must.
at least you want at least a couple cans of it.
Yeah. It's a must.
So I cracked open another Fiden's here.
Well, I saw you
Oh,
drinking
shit.
water.
Hell
I don't know
yeah.
what's up with that. There's a little glass
Doing
of
a little
water.
bit back and forth, trying to get that stout out. But this one is Narration, which is a West Coast IPA from them. So I thought I would just try something a little different from the typical stuff.
I've never tried their West Coast IPAs.
The ones I've had are pretty good.
That's what I've
You know,
heard.
Yeah, I mean, I think folks out in the West Coast do it a little bit better, maybe, but this one's 5.4%, and it came out just last month.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, the beginning of February, so it's about a month old now. But it's really well crafted. It's nice and light.
That looks pretty hazy for a West Coast, because
It
like the
totally
West Coast
does.
style is typically like really clear, really crispy. That looks pretty cloudy for a West Coast.
Might be why I like it.
Yeah.
That I did
Somewhere in
as soon as
between.
you said that, Bennett, I was like, yes, that's got some cloud to it.
But they've had other ones that are a lot more are lighter and more clear for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is Mosaic and Nelson.
What's the alcohol level in that one, Jimmy?
It's pretty light. It's 5.4%.
And how does that line up?
In terms of what?
Does it feel like it's that light, or does it feel a little bit heavier? Or what's your thought on that?
It's a little heavier than the other West Coast that they've done. Yep.
Okay.
They have one Diego by the Bay or something like that. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from Diego to the Bay, I think.
from Diego to the Bay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that one's I recall like noticeably lighter.
Brew dog. This one's okay.
So I've had this one before. It's not as good as the other ones I've drank on other episodes by Go Brewing, but BrewDog's are actually, customer service-wise, their company's awesome. There's some mix-up with my order. They sent me a free 6-pack. This is decent beer. I put this one, I don't know, kind of middle of the pack, better than that Brooklyn Brewery one that I had on our last episode. So probably worth trying. They have a couple of different IPAs, so I'll probably try a couple others. But again, a really cool company. Talked to one of the guys there and kind of made things right. So worth trying a couple times.
That's a disgrace to pour it in that Fiden's glass.
I know,
That's
right?
really embarrassing. I'm gonna bring you out some shit, dude. I'm gonna bring you out some shit where you're gonna need to wear a condom.
All right, I will. I think this one.
You're gonna have to wear a condom when you're drinking it.
That good. Dude, you're setting it up for to be something big, dude. So
Yeah.
can't disappoint now.
You're not gonna. I don't want you to bring anything. I'm road dogging with this shit.
If you
All right,
keep it
bro.
up, Paul, he's gonna back out. He's gonna cancel his flight.
He better not.
All right.
No, it's gonna be riding shotgun with me.
My God.
Hell yeah.
All right, Bellino.
My turn. So I got here is Dual Perspective, which is a collab between Roos and Threshold Brewing, and it's a hazy. And the hops, they have Citra, Rawaka, Superdelic, and Mosaic Incognito.
Super delic.
And so it's really nice. It doesn't quite have the haze I would like it to have, but
Looks kinda
it's
dark.
Ambery, yeah, dark. But it doesn't really have that kind of like it's really fruity, tropical, and taste wise to me.
I'd be cracking a brew host, man.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks again, by the
No.
way, for pulling through for us.
Yeah, no worries. You got it.
Subbing
I
in
got
for
it.
Paul in the line.
I cracked one open and it kind of felt a little bit, kind of green, a little bitter on the back end. So I
Yeah,
thought
I'd give it
maybe-
2 weeks.
I think another
Yeah.
week. So I don't want to rush
Yeah.
it because it's so good.
And they're. Did I mention their restaurant that they have there was really
No, what kind of food do they got
good.
going on?
Yeah, I had a really I had a nice lamb burger that was just fantastic. Man,
Wow.
it was so good.
That's not really my go-to. I don't even know if I've ever had a lamb burger. I've had lamb for sure, but
Yeah, I'd never had it, and that was like one of the recommendations. And I was like, okay, I'll try it, and I did. and
yeah, I
was
always like to try when they have like elk or like game
Yeah.
meat and stuff. I always like to give it a shot.
yeah, it was man, it was super good, super good.
So they have their own
cool.
kitchen there, or they still kind of like outsourcing it a bit, or
No, they had their own kitchen, but I think they wanted things to flow a little more fluid, and so they had their main kitchen, which is their partner with the restaurant, and they had another like 3 or 4 different food options there. They were outside, so it's pretty. They really thought it through. It was cool.
Man, I don't know how Fiden's does it. Like, this is so freaking good right now.
it's insane.
Dude, yeah, you know it is. They don't miss. They don't miss.
Bellino, if you ever need a package, we can probably help you out.
I may take you up on that.
Put it in
They don't
order.
miss.
I think I've had 2 finds. They're both just incredible.
Every time I've hung out with you, I've definitely shared more
Yeah,
than at least
before
one
you
with you.
want-
But
I just can't remember all the different beers.
right,
I don't got
they're
the
just all
time.
really good. It doesn't matter which one you get. They're
It's all really good.
well. Since this episode's coming out in April, we decided to choose all spring images to help people get motivated for the changing of seasons. Hopefully, give you some inspiration, help you think a little bit differently, maybe see things a little bit differently. But yeah, all the images that we put together for this are really incredible. So I'm really excited to go through these. So starting with my selection, as soon as we decided on this topic, I just thought of Adam Gibbs right away because he has so much great forest stuff, lots of really green stuff from Vancouver Island and other places. And this one, when I was going through his gallery, just the way that he made this work is like what really stood out to me. Like all the fallen trees, I would have like avoided this probably and not shot in this direction at all. But the way that he made this composition work with, all the kind of leaning trees that are standing and then the zigzagging and kind of like overlapping fallen trees, like this just shows what an old growth forest like really looks like, but in a way that is like really masterfully done. Like this is a really impressive photo, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, his work from those forests. This is probably Vancouver Island, I assume.
I think
But you're
so.
right. Those fallen trees, he did so well with it. Just the fact that they were not completely horizontal, there's some angularity to them, rising upward.
Hmm.
Um, Definitely works well. But he has such a mastery of these sorts of scenes, and also his processing with these images is always I always appreciate. Just
Yeah.
controlling color, especially, just the way he renders it, is something he does super well.
Well, and like shooting this in soft light, you're not getting separation from the light at all by having like strong highlights, strong shadows to give you more depth and stuff. So like this really relies on composition here, the way that everything is nicely spaced out and yeah, just so well organized. It's really crazy.
He's great.
Yeah, seemingly so chaotic that it'd be hard to see a scene in that kind of a forest, but he keeps doing it. It's unbelievable.
I love this one. I mean, that center tree is, I mean, it just draws your attention to it, but then you have the tree to the left, the angled trees. It's just so like 3D dimensional, and the color and the soft treatment. He does a really good job here without any like change in light or shadows to really produce just
Hmm.
a really fantastic image. It's the same tone and shadows all the way through, and it just really works.
Right. Yeah, I love how you handle the greens here
That's
too.
cool.
Yeah. Where do you think this was?
I think I found it in his Vancouver Island gallery. I forget
Okay.
what it's called, like
Okay.
close to home
Yep.
or something like that.
Yep. Mm. Yeah, look at that.
That's crazy.
Well, it's not black and white.
Oh, does Chris Murray do a lot of black and white?
I don't think
name
I've ever
rings a
seen
bell,
a
but-
non-black and white. I don't think I've
Oh,
ever seen a
really?
non-black and white.
Oh, he does a lot of
I'm
color.
sure he is.
Yeah, yeah.
Does he?
This is one I submitted. Yeah.
He's another one who must have fallen off my algorithm because I feel like I haven't seen him post a photo in forever.
He's walked away from social media maybe about a year and a half ago.
Oh, there you go.
I wonder
That
why.
makes sense.
It has
Why
so
would you
much to
ever walk
offer.
away from something so amazing and that makes you feel so good and just enriches
Right.
your life?
Right, right. And all those accounts you get that follow you, you know, like Brenda 0059, you know.
Veronica XOXOXOXOXO.
Yeah. So she follows you
Yes.
That's
too?
mine.
I thought it was just me.
She's your girl too. I thought she's mine.
What the hell? All right, let's end this right now. But you know, he's still quite active. He recently moved from Syracuse and headed up north towards like the Thousand Islands region. So it's kind of like straight north. And but yeah, he you know, it's just a great body of work. Does a lot of black and white, but also color. And but this particular image, the reason why I chose it from him is that there's a, you know, that early spring season we get, and it's really super ephemeral but also really colorful, and he just nailed it with this one.
Yeah, that's I'm glad you shared a scene like this, like with the buds and stuff, like the very early spring, because a lot of people think of spring as like super green, but really it's kind of like fall, where you can get like a whole rainbow of colors from different budding trees.
Yeah, and each year it's quite different. It
Right.
does not last long, and you just got to get at it, because if you wait a couple days, you know, it'll change up.
This past year in Vermont, the spring colors were insane. They were the best I'd ever seen. But you're right, Jimmy. It's like you get that one weekend, and then if you wait till the next
gone.
week, like it's gone.
And the weather is super variable too, you know.
Right.
So, but this is exactly what you hope to find when you look at the canopy.
You know, when I submitted an image and Eric told me that's too similar to this one, which is true, because I had the same concept in mind when I started looking for images for this, was that super early, that first burst of growth, new growth, on the super vibrant pale greens, but also those reds and other colors you can get, like you mentioned. It's such an amazing part of spring. And that's why I love spring. You can shoot for so long, at least around the Northwest. It lasts from really late March, early April, even earlier in the town where there's more flowering trees in the cities and stuff like that, but until late May, June. It's such a great time to shoot. But this is a great example of that sort of early spring eruption of new growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
It's
like
so
more
clean.
structure to all the plants too, because they're not like covered in leaves. It's kind of like
Right.
fall, you know, where you can see like more of the tree trunks and the branches and everything, and you just get that little bits of color on the tips.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Super cool.
And around here, it's a great time to shoot. In part because there's no bugs out yet. It's like you're not, just another week or two later, you're gonna get devoured. But
Yep.
but this season, not so much.
Yeah, Bellino, you have a really great portfolio of spring themed images. So, I mean, we've already had you on the show and featured your stuff before. Otherwise, I would have picked one of those. But yeah, you got a lot of great stuff. Don't let that inflate your head too much. But
Never,
Well,
dude.
that's a really great call.
Thank you,
He
bud.
does. And like when you're going through to like curate to find folks that have spring.
yeah, he came to mind several times. Like,
He
but
totally did it.
I wanted
Like-
to avoid
like-
it.
Yeah, when you're thinking of like concept, Molina's got some great stuff that like you know you're going to be able to go there and pull something out that's just an absolute banger. But I knew
Yeah.
he was going to be on the show, so I said, "Go fuck him."
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, thanks for saying that, guys. I appreciate it. That's nice of you
Yeah.
guys.
He's got great stuff, great spring stuff.
I try hard, so get lucky.
Whoa. So we've never had Marc on the show. I mean, we could have Marc on the show every single time when we talk about like, I mean, just really anything. And
Mhm.
when I think about spring, I think about the redwoods a lot because they're pretty accessible over here on like the West Coast in Oregon. It's pretty easy to get down there. And I mean, I've been down there a couple of times in the spring, and this is just an absolute money shot. I mean, you guys can look at this and say you would love to have something like this in your portfolio where it's
It's the quintessential redwoods rhododendron spring photo.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's fucking great.
It's
So-
one of the best. I mean, one of my favorite photos of his portfolio, but also just all-time photos. Like, there's another one that I thought of right away. And what's crazy is he shot this back in. I'm looking it up right now, so I'm not mistaken, but I think it's 2006.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was gonna say like early 2000s. I mean, for sure.
2007.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just
I mean-
so perfect.
Yep.
There's nothing you can dislike here. Like the fog, the way the subject stands out with the branch of the rhododendron flowers and the redwoods, like the two big ones and the two other ones to the right of it and further back. Like it's just such
Subtle
a perfect,
light.
incredible scene. And the processing is so well done too. Like so nice.
The colors are just perfect.
Yeah, it's that like dapple type light that just kind of hits in all the right places.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that little branch, like next to the rhododendron that goes up, it's like overlapping with the tree trunk in the background, but that fog just separates it perfectly. Where like that might bug me if they were like the same contrast and luminosity, but the way that it's just like faded out and everything from the fog, that really helps with the separation there.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of interesting. Like today, Marc is still regarded as one of the preeminent landscape photographers out there. But now there's such a separation between now and like the 20 aughts when like Paul, you and I probably first started getting to be aware of his work. And it's hard for people to understand. Like back then, Marc was levels beyond anyone else in terms of his
Mhm.
ability to see images and process images at the time. He was basically a wizard at the time. I
Yep.
just
Yeah, when
couldn't
I first
shake my
found his
head. I have
stuff-
no idea how he did this stuff.
Yep.
In like 2014, I was just blown away. It was like nothing else.
I mean, he's a genius in many ways.
Yep.
Mhm.
Sure,
Totally agree. He changed the whole photography game. I mean,
it's his paradox. This
mean-
is his paradigm that we're still kind of leading in some regard, especially for big landscapes and big epic shots. He
Yeah.
killed the entire genre.
And that's what he's known for. But if you go back in his portfolio, like his 2006, 2007, 2008, even until like 2012 stuff, like he has tons of incredible abstracts, great intimate tree stuff, forest stuff. Like if you've only
insane.
seen like his social media accounts and stuff, like it's worth going on his website and digging through and looking at everything. Cause like I do it all the time. Like now and again, I'll I'll go through and look through his older stuff, and because like he's sharing his latest work, so that's what you see on Instagram and stuff. But he has such a just a plethora of incredible images from way back that are so tasteful and unique, and big variety of subject matter.
Yeah, I mean, you just like when you talk about landscape photography, you just can't say enough about him. I mean, it's like he's such an icon, and he's pretty humble about his work, and he's just he just come every single year. You see the guy just kind of raise the bar and go to another level because he kind of has to. Like this, look at this. This is 2006. Are you kidding
where do you go
me?
from here?
Are you fucking kidding me? 2006.
Yeah.
You know,
2007, but yeah, same thing.
yeah, I mean, it's the same shit. So like,
Yeah.
we're talking 2024. He's like, okay, I got to raise the bar. I got to go a little bit deeper. I got to go a little bit, do a little bit different stuff. So exactly what you're talking about, Eric. It's like, go look at his website and look at this guy just completely, you know, he's an evolution. I mean, he just raises the bar, raises the game, and just keeps things like moving forward. And it's pretty awesome to see.
Definitely one of the most influential photographers in the modern, for the last 25 years, I would say.
Yep.
Easily. That's a given.
Yeah, like if he weren't alive, I think the community today wouldn't be what it is. Like he definitely had a huge impact.
Agreed. And you're talking about a guy, dude, from Corvallis, Oregon.
Yeah.
Literally. He's like from this small town, Corvallis, Oregon, that just, I mean, it's such a like inspirational, cool story that this guy's the man.
Yep.
It's pretty
And again,
amazing.
It's cool.
when this was released in 2007, this image was light years beyond the typical things you would find. Like now,
I'm sure.
it's an amazing image. It still holds. It's very strong. It's an incredible image. I would see this today as a new release and be like, this is incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
But in 2007, this was on the moon. This was
Yeah.
on Mars. And
Yeah.
it's
You're like,
it's
where
hard to
did
be able to relate if you weren't photographing back then. It's hard to really know. Like he was levels beyond everyone else. It's pretty
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, you're totally such a very good assumption. Like it's like, what the fuck camera did this come out of? You know what I mean? It's just like, wow, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Those
Definitely
forests
wasn't
seem so cool to explore in the spring. It must be quite a sight.
Yeah, I've never been, but it's on my list. You've been there, Bellino.
A couple times,
Paul.
but never with such amazing conditions.
Yeah,
You know,
hey, you should come out, Bennett, and whoever else wants to come. But yeah, that's
So when is it
The
like
cool
this? Like
thing
what?
is, it's like-
I mean, I
it's
know
like-
it's spring, but
For the rhododendrons,
April.
it's like April, I think.
no,
Yeah.
it's
I feel like
June.
May or June.
Oh,
It's-
later.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, you guys, you've got like absolute premium beach photography, and like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right
15
up the
minutes
road.
away, the redwoods. So like during the day, it's literally almost foggy every single day. So you start in the morning, you work the redwoods, and then you head out to the coast. I mean, it's just that fantastic. I mean, there's so much subject matter in that very small space that you're absolutely super productive, right, Bellino?
Yeah. Yeah, it can be very difficult. I find it a little bit challenging. But when the conditions are like this, it's just going to be fish in a barrel. You know, it's
Yeah.
gonna be amazing.
Yeah, Bellino dropping the line. Yeah, I'm totally with you, man. Like it seems like every morning there's fog. You head out there.
If
you
you're
grab-
right on the coast, yeah, it makes sense because
Yeah.
like the
yeah. Hey,
There's
just
a
go to your
couple sections on
thing,
the
and
coast.
then like in the, you know, like mid morning you go out and shoot some coastal stuff. Afternoon you shoot some coastal stuff. You know, drink some good beers. Next morning you go out and shoot some more roadies with some freaking absolute banging redwoods. I mean, it's such a good setup.
yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
This is Michele Sans. I selected this one, and I knew I wanted to feature something from Appalachia, from back east, the Appalachian Mountains, and of course her name came straight to mind. And this to me is just it's just an amazing image. I mean, there's nothing else I can say about it. What I love about it is just the flowering tree, which I'm assuming is dogwoods. It's a little bit hard to really tell for certain, but I'm almost
I couldn't
certain
tell
that
if they were like flowers, if it was just like glare on leaves, you know?
I think it's dogwood leaves, just the
Mm.
petals.
Mm.
It's kind of hard to tell in the image, but just so much going on, so well thought about and composed. Uh, just the gesture by the right word, the most right foreground tree, how it's just angling in. It just pulls the eye through. There's the upper left branch of the tree angling in from the left to right, top left
Yeah, like an
corner.
arch
It's just
type
like it
thing.
just kind of pulls the eye through the center of the frame, and then there's so much to explore. I mean, I just love images where you just take in every single centimeter of it, and this is one of those images. Even concluding the little bit of the ground that kind of sweeps down and out of the frame towards the left, I think is just such a nice touch compositionally. Um, I think myself, I'd almost want to maybe get rid of that, but her decision to include it was absolutely the right call. Again, handling of the colors not overwhelming the scene. The scene's about the color, but also more. It's about the trees, the the variety of trees, and just as a whole image, this is, in my book, phenomenal.
Yeah, I almost did she was the first person popping in my mind too when I'm thinking about spring galleries. So, and she has so many that, are like this that are, just as good. What I love most about her work though, which I think is always makes it instantly recognizable when it pops up on my Instagram feed or whatever, is how well she handles or how well she uses low contrast. Like most of her images have a very low kind of contrast element to it. And it's kind of like her signature thing. And I think it kind of imbues the scene with this kind of calmness. And I think this image is a great example of that. It's not in your face. It's very subtle. It's very kind of calming. And I think that's how she sees that area, that part of the country. And so, yeah, it's a great choice. I'm glad somebody else grabbed one of her images.
Yeah, it's a really great spring image. Really great representation of a spring image. I love it.
It's to me, it's funny that you guys picked out Michele because I was looking at her stuff as well. So I couldn't decide. So I was vacillating between a few others. So but yeah, it's such a subtle time of year with this just really light lime green. Few flowering trees, dogwood, red bud is usually abundant, but obviously it wasn't where she was. And then, but yeah, really, she treats it really well. It's a special area for sure.
Yeah, there's a really nice image. It makes me want to photograph that part of the country because I've never been over to the East Coast really to photograph woodlands or anything. So,
Yeah. And, I grew up in Maryland. She lives in Virginia. I think this might be from Tennessee or Great Smoky.
yeah, it looks like this. I was gonna guess the Smokies, but this stuff could be all over like
Like
West Virginia.
Blue Ridge Parkway or something like that in North Carolina. But
Vermont looks like that. I mean, that's all the way. It could be anywhere from the
You could get-
Mid-Atlantic.
Well,
Yeah,
Vermont
that's
has
great.
everything. It's the most incredible place in the world, and it's
Yeah.
Like,
You should
New
see the
York.
desert we have up here. It's pretty.
and the waves and
Sandstone, all that
That's
shit.
Mikey. That's Mikey D's
ice
backyard.
caves, glaciers.
Yeah.
You seen
Mud
their
cracks.
hoodoos? Their hoodoos are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like I know I agree with you, Eric. It's like that's one area of the country I really want to photograph in certain seasons. Of course, it's a spring, fall. My personal
Right.
schedule doesn't really allow me to do that, but I can live vicariously through Mike
Dude.
and Jimmy's work, but also Michele's work, and other people are doing a really great job of photographing these forests.
How long
I kinda feel
until
like
you
there's a lot
can?
of potential there.
How long until you can retire, Michael?
That's a great question, man.
You're getting up there.
Hey,
I'm
Bulls.
50.
Bulls. J Rod and Mikey D. They'll take us to this spot anytime.
I know. Retirement,
Anytime.
hopefully 5 to
Too
10
easy.
years. We'll see. I have a couple of
Mikey D says this is low hanging fruit. Look at him. He's like, hey, this shit's in my backyard all day, bitch.
Said something about shooting fish in the barrel on the last image. I mean,
That's right. He says, me and the boys, me and the dogs are
Yeah.
going to go out here out back. We're going to piss on a couple of those things.
Yeah.
I feel like I read commentary from Alex that he's also traveled out to the Appalachians in the spring. I can't say I've seen any work from that, but
Alex Noriega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was in the
images.
fall, but yeah, he has some stuff from like West Virginia and then also the Great Smokies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue Ridge Parkway.
Mhm.
There
He's
was
got some really nice stuff.
a photograph from Joseph Holmes that I had for years hanging in my living room that this area in the spring, and it's always been, super pretty, really big inspiration.
Yeah, it looks awesome, and I'm glad you pointed out the soft contrast here, Michael, because I think that's something that people are kind of scared of. Everybody like wants to pump in more and more contrast, so it's like more visually like engaging, I guess, or like striking. But you can go really soft, and it can have a really great effect as well. I like how there's like no
Yeah.
black shadows here.
Yeah, and she does it so well, so consistently.
Yeah, there's still like good contrast, great separation and stuff without blacks and
Right. And it helps, I think, with the saturation too, because you're not affecting the saturation. So the greens especially have like kind of a very nice natural, like early spring, in this instance. Color
without
to it
being
that's not-
nuclear.
Right.
Which, as you start, trying to dial up the contrast, that's where the greens are going to go, and you're going to have to either dial it back or do something different.
Right.
And then the image becomes all about the color and not about the entire scene as a whole.
Yeah, the
Which
color
people
becomes
lose-
distracting.
Yeah, a lot of people lose sight of is just not making it all about the color, because there's so much goodness
Mm-hmm.
in the frame.
Yep.
Yeah, really great structure in the trees here and stuff. Like you definitely want to appreciate that, not just the green. So I like how she pulled that back and managed it.
Agreed.
This one
Damn.
is fucking great. Like,
Dude, that's
Yeah.
so
holy
legit.
shit!
Mostly.
Yeah,
Who's
so this
this?
is so Nel Talen, very abstract photographer. I found out about her through TJ Thorne.
I follow her
but-
too.
Yeah, so really talented, really, really good abstract work, really consistent stuff. And I wanted to do something. My other image is a little bit more traditional, kind of landscape nature image. But what I love about flower and flower photography is when people can do these kind of abstract things and do it really well. And there's a handful of people that do it, but Nel Talen definitely jumped to the forefront of my mind when thinking about it. And this is just a great example of it. And going through her website, it was just a matter of picking one of many that were so good. But I loved how this one just kind of superimposed through multiple exposure, the flower, different sizes, kind of fills the entire frame. Very subtle, similar to what we were just talking about, kind of low contrast, just kind of has that soft, gentle, emerging spring kind of feel to it. And I think always, in addition to the greens, is kind of pastel color palette is really prominent in spring. And so I think she used it really well here.
Yeah, and of course the flowers. But yeah, you said double exposure. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But that wasn't my first guess. Like I was thinking maybe like shallowed up the field, or maybe like ICM slightly, or something to like ghost out the front layer.
It could.
Oh, you're
I mean,
not-
it
you're
definitely
not
could
sure.
be.
I think it is.
No,
a
I don't
double
know for
exposure,
sure.
but
If you look at a lot of the rest of her work, I think is pretty clearly double exposure or multiple exposure. But I don't know. I don't know for sure.
I love the range of like transparency in here. Some of them are like really faint, some of them are more prominent, but I just love that mix and the balance here with all the little like kind of paint stroke feeling petals.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the theme of this episode, like a spring image, this is a really good representation of that. It's fantastic.
No shit, Paul. That's why Mikey picked it.
And just also the yellow, just how perfect that yellow is. If you pull it up, it's a different image, and it just adds so much, that color contrast. Are these crocuses? This must be crocuses.
Yeah.
It seems like it.
I don't know my flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Image
know.
out here.
I'd
Jimmy?
be surprised if they weren't crocus. But what's a lot of things grabbing me, but the crocus have a kind of unique kind of texture to the petals, and she actually pulled that through as well. Like on the left hand side, it's actually really looks just like that. That's this fine venation.
Do you guys think this is like studio work too, or like in the field?
I feel like it's studio.
I think it might be, but that's really impressive because like when people make studio stuff, but it doesn't feel like studio work, like you can just get really engaged with it. I really like that.
I didn't even think about it. That's a good point. I assumed it was just the field, but
Totally
Sometimes
agree.
you get like the white background, maybe, or unless you're like certain kind of lighting.
definitely a possibility.
You could slip something in behind it too.
Yeah,
Paul's like fighting for his life over there. You got
Dude.
something in your nose?
I'm like, oh my gosh, wow,
Come
wow.
on, buddy.
Want a reaction?
Excuse me. So, with that segue,
Yeah, you cracked another.
I'm gonna go
Nice.
like we're gonna go to a commercial break here, and this is
Keeping the Bidens going.
Jasper with Egger's special right here.
That one was really good. Jesus
Yes,
Christ.
it's
Okay.
absolutely fantastic. We're talking about Citra and Agra special hops, and this
Yeah,
one-
Egger's special. I think it was just like another like strain of Citra that was like more potent or something like that, from what I remember.
Yes, and this one guy comes in at I think it's here we go 7.8. You know, really middle of the road for a nice IPA, and it's fantastic. So that's a commercial break. Back to your regular scheduled programming.
Yeah, this image is fantastic. I've been following her, but I don't know if I had seen this one. So when you sent this one to me, Mikey, I was really excited about it.
Is she on
Yeah, her
Instagram?
body work is just so good. Yeah, she's on Instagram.
Got it.
Yeah, she has a lot of interesting like kind of composite type stuff,
Mhm.
but it has a very organic feeling and it's very artistic
Very
and
creative.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, lots of great texture type things.
yeah. This one's sick.
That one's really nice, and this one too, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, she has really good stuff. It looks like a lot of it might be like studio stuff. Man, this is like a painting.
It totally is like a painting. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I love following her because it's always just something fresh, something different in your feed. Consistently
Yes.
good.
Nice. Yeah.
Jimmy, I saw that
Beautiful.
can you grabbed. I was thinking about drinking one of those tonight.
Oh yeah. So this one is from Mortalis. So it's as above, so below.
Oh yeah.
And Imperial Stout
That
brewed
one's
with
good.
coffee. So it's I may regret this tomorrow, but it's a 10%.
Yeah, buddy. Saddle
That
up.
one is so
uh,
smooth. You can drink that one in
Yeah.
2 seconds.
All right, time me.
Is that the one with maple and granola, or just the normal as above, so below?
Normal. Yeah. Normal.
Maple and granola, dude. How you cannot go wrong with that shit.
That one was good, but I really like the basic stout they do without any adjuncts. It's just like tastes like really smooth, like cold brew coffee with like
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
it's so
I mean,
smooth
it's like
and easy,
it's like something out of a bottle for sure.
super thick and
Yeah.
viscous.
Hey, Jimmy, you there?
Give me a second here. Yeah, what's up, man?
Richard, Mike, you and I were both chasing Richard. I mean, this is
Yeah,
he's got a really great
that might.
portfolio.
Yeah, I've been
I'm
wanting
really
to.
glad that you featured him.
I've been wanting to show something from him since we started the show because he's one of my all-time favorite photographers, probably in my top
Yes.
5. Really awesome
Yes.
human being too. I've done critique groups with him. Jimmy attended one of those critique groups, and
Did. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
his
just has-
his work is so good, right?
I just think he's the most artistic person I've ever met.
Yeah,
That's like how I can summarize Richard Martin
and he's super
as,
nice
as a photographer. Oh, he's
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
amazing guy. I talk to him all
Like-
the time.
Yeah, like when I messaged him, and he's like, I mean, he's such just a sweet, nice human. You're just like, okay, this, you just really want to engage with him, and he's just a great guy.
Yep.
So
Really cool.
it's awesome that you're throwing him up here.
Yeah, this image is just like, for me, it's just fantastic. Like you have like the awesome colors of the ripples, the like reflecting sunset sky or something in the surface of the pond, but then also the grass, and then also the grass reflection, like the squiggly dark lines. Like, it's just such a well done scene.
It's so kind of crazy, dude.
It's kind of
There's
a chaotic
so much
subject
stuff
matter
going on
too.
here.
Exactly,
right.
but it feels so serene and like
Yes.
so well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a deceptive scene because it looks so easy to photograph, but I bet
It's impossible.
most people wouldn't come away with anything.
No, dude, you're so right. I mean, there's just so much stuff going on here, but he collectively pulls it together, and it's just like, wow.
He's so good at like overlaying
banger.
patterns and textures in a way that is cohesive and
Yep.
Yep.
No question.
And like time and again. Like it's like
That's his, like,
every single
signature
one.
thing.
Like it's
Yeah.
so hard to do.
No, I totally agree. Fantastic. Good, great image.
and it's super hard to pick one from him, but I know we'll have him on as a guest at some point, so we'll look at a lot of his stuff when we have him on. But yeah, just for now, wanted to throw this one out there in case anybody isn't following him that watches the show, because he's one of the
Me
best.
too. Yeah.
Is he Canadian?
Yeah, Eastern Canada.
That's why he's so nice.
I was gonna say it.
I'm stoked to have him on, dude,
Jimmy.
because I
Stole
think,
my joke, you bastard.
I think he would be a great guest.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Eric. I mean, it's like, yeah, we've dabbled in it here a little bit, but I think he would be a really good person to have on the show and just be like, bring some really good content.
One other thing I can say is that just looking at there's a lot of chaos there, right? But as you mentioned, Eric, he can compose it so well, and he works with the chaos so well. And like reflecting on my own work, I would probably shy away from this sort of chaos, and he just saw the potential in it, and that's what is. When a photographer can understand possibilities where many others see none, that's where you see special images, and that's one reason I feel like this is so great. It's because he used that chaos to his advantage. And
yep.
I think I'd probably try to isolate like fewer numbers of those reeds or those grasses. And
Yeah, I would have tried to simplify it down a bit more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I love how like the ripples too, like that zigzagging, like, you know, like it sweeps across and then comes back, and like, I don't know, it's so perfect. Like
I love
how
to
did
hear
he
him
how
talk
did he get
through.
that moment where the ripples were doing the perfect thing, as well as like the grass composition?
because he's working within a time frame, because there's obviously some sunset color. I would love to hear him
Right.
talk through his mental processes in the field. What did he notice? Was it the ripples? Did he try to zoom in only on the reflections? Did he
Right.
go
What was
wider?
first?
Did he notice the colors of the red, then the green, or the yellows in the background, the reflections? And he want to create more of a color contrast? Like, there's so many ways I can see how he would maybe mentally process going about this image. I
Right.
just love to let him just hear him talk about it. So please have him as a guest. That'd be awesome.
I love
And
how
show
the
this image.
colors.
Choose this image, maybe.
Yeah,
That's like a
I love how
bonus
the
image or
colors
something.
like complement the composition in the sense that like this is kind of like what you were talking about. It's a very kind of chaotic image, and we might want to focus in on one spot or another. But it's still a very calming image, and I think it's because of the way that that kind of soft color palette, very soothing tones. You know, I think it kind of creates that, so it kind of balances the chaotic nature of the composition itself with the colors. It kind of leaves you with this kind of very relaxing image to look at, even though there's a lot going on.
It's interesting how the bottom half is like pink and blue, and the top half is green and blue. Like the ripples aren't pink through the whole scene. And I think that makes a big difference too, to simplify that background instead of having like that clash of like, you know, pink reflections with the green and stuff. It's just masterful.
Totally agree.
But yeah, super hard to pick an image from him. I had like several ones that I had him send me because I wasn't quite decided, but yeah, went with this one mainly because of the theme. And nobody else had any really like water scenes, so thought I'd change it up a bit.
One last thing about Richard, his travel photography is incredible as well.
Oh yeah, like his urban stuff
Unbelievable. What
in
a
like
series.
Cuba and Mexico and all over.
I don't think
Colorful
I've
like
seen any of
doors and
that.
things, and oh dude, it's awesome.
So
Like
good.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
into
crazy.
like, I always say like I'm a nature photographer because I love nature, and it's hard for me to photograph anything else because I just don't care about it in the same way that I care about nature as a subject. But like he has like photos of like urban stuff, like ballerinas. He has this ballerina photo. It's one of my favorite photographs of all time. It's like a long exposure of like these ballerinas dancing, and it's just like, it's just incredible. It blows me away whenever I see it. But
Oh,
He
wow.
just has a way of making the world look so cool wherever he is, like whether it's in nature or an urban environment or just he's kind of like Art Wolf or like, you know, these people can just like spot things anywhere they are, like a rusted door or like color contrasts or just anywhere they go, they see stuff because they're just so artistic.
Like
That-
wherever he
that-
touches turns to gold. He's just one of those
Mhm.
people who can find compelling work anywhere.
Yeah, that speaks to your
Relaxing.
comment about him being, you know, you feel he's one of the more artistic people you've ever met.
Well, and that's kind of the point of photography, like to teach people about the subjects that you photograph. And like the fact that I'm not interested in those things in general, but his photographs draw me in and they make me interested in those subjects, like that really says a lot.
Totally agree with that. Like that's not my deal, but you look at someone's stuff and it like pulls you into it and you're like, fuck yeah, that's great.
Right.
I'm with you.
Yeah, they're changing your mind. That's like,
Dude, that's exactly it. They're changing your mind. That's exactly it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm curious to look. I did not know he had that component in his portfolio at all. Like,
unfortunately, his website is pretty slim. He has way more stuff on Instagram that he's been posting. Like he hasn't been updating his website very well, and I've been on his ass about it because he has so much great stuff. I'm like, dude, I want to see this full screen, but there is a lot of great stuff on his website.
so this is a photograph I submitted from Karen Waller. She's out of Southern Australia, out of the city of Adelaide. And she, to me, is just phenomenal at what she does. Just a big diversity. Maybe it's sounding like kind of like Richard Martin in a way, where she, if you look at some of her portrait work, it's exceptional. You know, sometimes candids, and yeah, it's just really wild. And she, I believe it kind of goes back for her like to when we were in lockdown back in 2020, and she started posting some ICMs of agave that I believe she had in the garden around her home or maybe in the neighborhood, and just developed this whole portfolio of agave images that have lots
They're
of
incredible.
double, triple meaning, and it's just it's really quite exceptional. I
Mhm.
still can't figure out how she does it, but I know that there's single exposures and
Oh, really?
Oh, this is it. So it's like ICM then. So it's kind of like maybe resting the camera for like most of the exposure, then like turning it so you get like a slight ghost effect, but you still have really strong lines and edges and things. It doesn't smooth out everything.
right.
I was thinking double exposure, like, you know, slightly rotated on top of it.
I think she's done that as well. She's experimental, but when you look at her Instagram feed, if you scroll back through time, or even on her website, you can see just kind of this really interesting breadth that she's done.
Yeah. I've
Super
been
cool.
following her on Instagram. I don't know how I found her stuff. We haven't featured her before.
We may have once. I don't think we did though.
Yeah,
No, I think we did. I'm pretty sure we did.
we might. I think Mikey might have, but I found her somehow. And
Yeah.
I've been following her for a while. So when you sent this, I recognized it. I knew it was hers right away because she's been posting like a whole series of this, like you said.
Yeah, and she's just is also like a really super nice, wonderful person. So there's that. But when you scroll back through time, you can see some of her portrait work from Africa. It's
I love this, dude.
like, oh my goodness.
Willie knows looking through her feed right now.
I know. It's like it's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
pretty. It's also very consistently high quality. Like
Yeah.
everything's just really great.
Yeah. And she's
She must
super
do some
modest
studio
and-
work as well. It
Mhm.
seems like, but so good.
Yep. Yep, totally.
Super nice.
And aerial stuff as well. I mean, she's got some salt
Oh,
marsh
really?
stuff. Yeah, she's some salt. I'm not getting the right terms. Not salt marsh. Evaporation pools, salt evaporation
Mhm.
pools. That is exceptional as well.
I don't think of that when I think of her work. I think of like this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll have to go back and look through more of her stuff. Does she have a website?
Both. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely go on her website then. I don't know if I ever have.
Hey, come on. What do you think about that?
Ben.
Yeah, no, this one's fantastic. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, Jesus.
Hey, the rest of you fucking guys, just go ahead and check out. because this is the shit of the episode right here. Ben fucking Mays. This when you talk about a spring image, look at that shit.
Yeah, it's really nice, and I like how the water and even part of the tree is like out of focus. Like the I don't even know if it's shallowed up the field. I just think that there's a lot of depth here, and he was really zoomed in. So, but I think that works really nicely. How it just simplifies the background, and yeah, I love those branches and the composition here. I was super impressed when I saw this one, and when I was pulling this from his website, like he's got quite a gallery of like forest scenes now that are really really nice, and tree stuff from New Zealand and Tasmania.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I saw some Tasmania stuff.
Dude, when we talked about spring stuff, I mean, literally, Bellino and I talked about this. I think Bennett and I talked about this. I took 2 weeks, and it was every.
Yeah, you sent your stuff in under the wire,
dude. It was every day. I was like, I wanted to have some stuff that was special, and I was just like, I want to have something different. I want to have something that really represents like what I feel is like spring. And when I saw this, I was like, just that green moss. And the green, the leaves and the way it just kind of feeds through the scene. I was just like, this for me, like where I'm at in the Northwest here, this is a spring image. And Ben, you're crushing it, dude. This is a really good shot. I love it. You have a great portfolio, but this one really, from a spring representation, this one really stood out for me. I love it.
Super
Yeah,
nice.
he did a great job with it. I agree though. I had probably a harder time choosing images for this episode than any other one. I don't know why.
Yes, right, dude.
I just found too much stuff, and it was hard to narrow it down to just like 2 or 3.
That's what I mean. Yeah, and it was like, which
I had such
direction
a
do I
hard
want to
time.
go with this?
I had a hard time finding what I feel represents spring.
Yeah.
And I mean, for us, it's like it could be mountains and flowers and
right. Yeah, it's kind of ambiguous because spring isn't the same time frame in every elevation.
Yeah, but
It
was super hard.
Summer begin,
yeah,
Yeah.
Like there's no transition defining point
Right.
between spring and summer. For me, it's like I just had these. When I heard about the spring theme, I was thinking I got these image ideas in my mind, like James's first burst of spring growth. That was definitely something I wanted to find an image of.
Yeah, because
So
it's so hard.
I knew who to go to. It was just kind of finding that one image, and once I did, it was too late. I think James had submitted his already. But yeah.
I don't know about you
This is a
guys,
great-
but if you take like spring, fall, winter, I think spring is the most difficult season to photograph out of the 3. I think fall is like, it's just amazing. And then winter, I mean, you're kind of conditioned depending, getting snow, like fresh snow that looks good and stuff. But I don't know. I could shoot bare trees like all day long with no problem. But spring stuff is kind of tricky, and it's such a narrow window compared to winter. That's like 4 or 5 months, depending where you live, and then fall can be. I mean, for me, it's like months and months and months because I just start like at the highest elevation, then I go all the way down to the desert, and so it's like September, October, November, even December in some places. Spring is just such a short window everywhere, though. It's so hard.
Yeah,
to
we got
hit
a
it.
week.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, exaggerating, but I mean, already, sap is falling
Wildflowers
here, and
last like 2 weeks, maybe at the most. Buds last like a week. And just the green, predominantly green scenes are really difficult. You don't have like a lot of color separation, a lot of color contrast. They're pretty uniform.
yeah, I guess if you're willing to change elevation, it does. You could work with it.
It's just still such a narrow window, though.
A little bit.
And going back to this image, I mean, I agree. This is a great image, and the soft, like this shallower depth of field is very effective, especially when you consider the background acts as kind of like this canvas to kind of put the lines of the trees and the moss branches, and there might be like little flowers, maybe little yellow flowers that are blooming too. I feel like
I think it's just like buds, but
buds.
I think it's like the buds, like the really small leaves coming out.
I've known of Ben for years. And I've always known about his work, and I've always appreciated it. But I feel like I could be wrong. Maybe I'm becoming more familiar with his work. I feel like recently he's really kind of shifted into a different gear, where he's capturing a wider spectrum of images.
He has, yeah.
and
I would say like in the
some of
last
his
3 years.
Yeah, and Bob is really impressive.
Oh no, he's doing great. I would say he was kind of doing, I'm like all of us, we all went through this transition, like, lots of wide angle stuff, foreground in your face. It was all done really tastefully. He's really been good with post processing, I think, from the beginning. But and he's a really young guy too. I think he's like 22, 21.
Wow.
Like,
Are you,
he's
are you
really young.
serious?
That young?
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
What a
he like
fucking
just barely
animal.
turned 21. Like,
Ben, what a fuck. You're an animal, dude.
that's what I'm saying. So like
That's so
when we
cool.
started following him, he was probably like 16, 17, like at least when I found out about him. But yeah, now he's been branching out, photographing stuff like this, like more shot up the field, you know, a whole variety of different kinds of scenes and subject matter, and he's doing great. And I love seeing his evolution and his growth, because some people get stuck in that initial thing and they don't really find their voice, or, you know, they don't come up with their own style, or, but he's done a great job at that. And I just can't even imagine what he's gonna be doing like 10 years from now if he keeps it up.
Yeah, exactly.
No question. That's super good comments, dude.
Yeah, it's like
That's
a
like-
natural, you know.
Yeah, that's really
Just gotta keep growing.
that's really. I didn't realize he was that young of a guy, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's, to me, that's just like that much more impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
and just talking through the discussion of an evolution as a photographer, because we've all been through that, you know. So it's pretty cool to see like someone like him that's a little bit younger, kind of like maybe fast forward a little bit.
Oh,
Where-
he's progressed super quickly. It took me like
Yeah.
5 years to get out of that phase.
Yeah, and you know how we all were. We were a little bit. I mean, it was just a different time, and so it's cool to see someone else, like, you know, change that level and raise the bar a little bit, and for us to look at it and say, this is impressive work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Next-
Paul,
next
it took
gen.
you 5 years to put down your selfie stick, right?
Yeah,
Dude.
figure out how to turn the camera on.
Dude, I was really focused on the chin
those.
strap on my hair most of the time, because it was just
Chin
like,
strap GoPro.
I mean, it was like, come on, I gotta make sure I have a good angle.
Can you send that my way? Because I'm trying to like diversify a little bit.
Got some new stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. I got a chin strap and a pelt.
Pick up another beer. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I moved on
Hey.
to my second beer.
Hey,
All right, I'm gonna get another beer.
Yeah, so it's been a while since we've drank any Burial on the show, so I wanted to open this bottle that I've had for a few months, and it's been a while since I've had anything from Burial. Great brewery in North Carolina.
which one?
There's a stout called A Compilation of Devotional Waltzes for Dancing in the Barren Wilderness.
They always have the craziest fucking names.
Dude, they do it right.
Yeah.
It
Give me
takes
the-
so
give me
long
the-
to do a check-in on Untapped for their beers, and if you don't keep the bottle, you're never gonna find it. Like, you can't remember
Can you
it.
give me the profile?
So this is an imperial stout with coffee, smoked sea salt, toasted Texas pecans, maple syrup, cinnamon, and bourbon barrel-aged Mexican vanilla beans. And it's really
Dude.
good. It's super smooth, and it's 15%, so
Oh.
it does not
Dude.
taste like 15% at all.
That sounds fucking delicious.
It's really good.
I'm such a fan of Burial. I think they're better at stouts than they are IPAs, but they do. If I'm not like doing, I mean, of course, look at his Fidens, Brewhouse, Great Notion, whatever. I mean, they're definitely on that fucking list.
For
right?
stouts, yeah. Their stouts are like really well balanced. Like, I can't say like anything is super prominent, except maybe the coffee, but it's really smooth coffee. It's not like acidic or too dark.
it's-
But
they're great, man.
everything they do like blends really nicely just to make like a really nice balanced flavor that's just really easy to drink. Like, they're all super like 15-16%, like super high ABV, but so smooth,
Yeah.
and they'll sneak up on you.
And it's not thin.
No, this one's really velvety and creamy.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's what I find. That's where my problem is with stouts. Like, if you get like some other stuff, it's like it could be a little bit thin, and it's just like
Yeah, it's underwhelming for sure.
the
It's-
mouthfeel and the texture is just like this is. It doesn't even. I don't know. Fuck it.
The smell on this is slightly smoky, maybe from the smoked sea salt and like the dark, maybe some, the coffee, but
That's a nice touch, though.
it's really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
Are
it.
they out of Asheville or is that Greensboro? I forget.
They're in Asheville, but they have
Asheville.
several breweries. I think they have 4 or 5 locations now. They have one in Raleigh. They have one in I don't remember where else, but yeah, Asheville is where they started.
So am I
Is
the only
they-
one who's actually been to a burial location?
Yeah, you went. That
Yeah, I
was
went. It's a really cool place too.
their locations seem super cool, like
Yeah,
the
super
aesthetic
cool.
and everything.
Asheville's amazing. My wife went to grad school in Western Carolina, so which is close to Asheville. So she has friends. We go back every few years, and oh, it's amazing. I had
It's a
good
great
time.
town. Yeah, it's definitely a great town.
It seems cool. Yeah, I would love to visit their tap room. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I remember when you went, I was like, oh, dude,
That's
I'm
your
so jealous.
photo.
Yeah, spring out there. Speaking of spring photography, spring in Asheville can be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So, Spring Gallery. So I thought of Michele Sons, and at the same time, I thought of Joe Rossbach because he's out of Virginia. So he's got a great body of work from the Smokies and Appalachia, just kind of like we were all kind of thinking the same thing. So, kind of similar with to Michele in the sense that it was just kind of like, well, which one do I choose because they're all so good. So, this is just one of the ones that I kind of landed on. Pretty typical of his work from the Smokies. He does a lot of rivers, flowing water. Does that perfectly here. I love the flow, the composition, kind of pulling you right in. The light is really nice and soft. So just again, kind of a classic spring image that I always think of when I think of Joe's work. And obviously his breadth of work is pretty broad. He does stuff from all over the place, but I don't know. I always think of his work from the area where he lives first and foremost. So I don't think we've had him on before, have we?
I featured one of his images like in episode 1 or 2 a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one from Olympic because we were out of Olympic together, and I was blown away by what he came back with. So I shared one of his.
So was I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those images he came away with, I think he presented them as like a series of 5 on Instagram. And like those 5 images from that 1 week,
Yeah,
it'd be like 5 years for me. Like they're just all
I know.
absolutely top of the game images.
So
Like,
good.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like he's
Yeah,
so
he's so
good. He's so
talented.
experienced. He also enjoys
Yeah.
beer. Is he gonna come on, Eric? Do you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We gotta get him
Sure.
on. I actually ran into him at a gas station in Killington, Vermont, in the fall, and so I just kind of bumped into him randomly there. So I met him once briefly there. So yeah, he'll definitely be on. He's buying beer.
Recognize him or?
Yeah, well, so he and I had touched base, and we were going to try to meet up, but then it was such a shitty fall here. He was doing a workshop, and he was going to have a couple days off, and he decided to move the workshop to New Hampshire or something like that. I forget the circumstances, but basically he was getting out of Vermont earlier than anticipated, and I knew where he was camping. It was right around the corner from my house. And so I just happened to it's my local gas station, where I get gas and milk and stuff. So I recognized him when he was there. And in fact, as a matter of fact, I actually bought him the beer because he was in there in line. There was like a long line, and he gets up there and they ring it up, and he didn't have his wallet on him. So I was like, I'll get you a beer for you, dude.
I do that all the
But
time.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I think he actually
But, cool, dude.
he grew up in Maryland, I think close to me as well. I think
Yeah.
I think
He's in
within a
Virginia
10
now, I
mile
think.
radius he grew up next to me.
Wow, no kidding.
We obviously
That's
didn't know
funny.
each other then.
Right.
I met him years ago too, but out in Gorge.
Yeah, super cool guy. Really
Yeah,
nice and
super
funny
cool.
and cool to hang out with.
What I like about this area of the Appalachian Mountains is the tannins that you see, kind of like those brownish
In the
yellows.
water.
Actually,
That's what I was
really
gonna say.
really
Like what I
them.
appreciate about it, like like when you have like high flow, a lot of times you get like sediment or like the water would be kind of brown. And it's kind of like unappealing to most people, I think, or even like I would kind of shy away from it. But like I really like how it looks here. Like it doesn't bother me at all. Which
If you know what it is, that makes it even better. They're just the natural tannins.
mhm.
It's really cool. He's got so many great images like this from Pennsylvania and Smokies and Virginia, West Virginia, Blackwater Falls State Park area.
Yeah, he's got tons of great stuff from here.
He's got a deep, deep portfolio. It's pretty insane.
And he kind of goes back and forth. Like I'm not sure what determines his choice, but like he'll shoot digital and film still.
Yeah.
So this kind of looks like film to me, but I'm not sure. I don't know if you know, Mikey.
I don't know, actually.
It
I
could
agree
be
that
either
it does
or,
kind of look a
but
little bit like film,
yeah, sometimes they'll post something like really amazing, and I'll see it was shot in film, and I'm like, geez, like
See if it says on the check.
Even more impressive. I wouldn't be able to do shit with a film camera.
Oh fuck me! I have no idea what gallery I got it from. He's got so
Yeah,
many
he's
good
got
images.
really extensive body of work. Definitely recommend checking out his whole portfolio.
Yeah.
I love his stuff.
Fuck, now I'm going through trying to find it. I'm seeing other ones that are like fucking insane too. Like,
Yeah, hard to pick.
chill out, Joe. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was film or digital.
Doesn't really matter, but yeah.
Yeah.
Just pointing that out.
So I chose this one, and I think we all know who Simon is. And if you don't, and you enjoy woodland photography or forest photography, tree photography, what you want to call it, definitely visit his website. Better yet, buy his book, which I have, and it's just absolutely incredible. This one jumped out at me because it is just in many ways perfect in my eyes for me. It just feels so comfortable within the frame, like the way the branches move across the frame, the balance between left to right, the way he handles colors, as we talked about before, like he definitely renders these greens really nicely. And as you move your eye around and like look at each corner and each section of the frame, you can really see his very precise composition. You can almost feel him moving his tripod in very incremental doses of everything kind of like aligned the way he wants it.
Right.
And I think he does a lot of work in the Yorkshire, North Yorkshire. I think that's where this is from, over in England. And I would absolutely love to spend a good amount of time in these sorts of areas over there, just with these trees with so much character. It's like dance almost. It's just how they intertwine, they criss and they cross, and they complement each other. I could just go on and on and on. And then like, yeah, there's so much I could say about this image. The more I looked at it, the more it's just like, wow, this is a masterfully constructed and presented image. And like he is definitely one of my favorite forest or woodland photographers.
When he's kind of exclusively woodland photography.
He's not, no.
Right?
Is he
No?
exclusively? I think he is.
I don't know. I can
he
hardly
is-
think of anything else from him that isn't like forest.
Well, like I
but
think there's some things like from Scotland where it's a little bit more sparse, like it's single trees, which
sure.
is that woodland or is that just like grand landscape with a
Well,
single tree in it? Who knows? But
Regardless, so
same
like he
concept.
specializes in this, I think. Like this is
Yeah.
what he's known for. And that's like kind of a ballsy thing to choose as like your specialty because it's so difficult. Like you're not making it easy on yourself.
Yeah, his eye is just incredible. And
He's got
gosh,
some shit, dude.
he's got so
Yeah.
much amazing.
He's got
imagery.
some real shit. I mean, his portfolio is sick as fuck.
But there's such an emotional aspect to me. This couple of images were just so.
It's like
emotionally
leave it to Bowman to fucking like call that shit out.
You know, the word fucking shit has so many different meanings. Like I think you're just kind of like really expressing all the different various meanings in those words.
Bauman is really eloquent tonight.
It's like that line in Boondock Saints. Certainly illustrates the diversity of the word.
Even little things
good
like
movie.
last thing is like your eye looks at the frame, you're kind of zooming in and out as I do with these sorts of images from front to back. And then bam, the lower center, there's this ghostly tree, pretty much dead set in the lower center of the frame. There's just so many little parts of this image I just really just love about it. And anyway, he's one of my favorite photographers, definitely of these sorts of scenes and woodland scenes. And I do not watch many YouTubes, but he is one of two people I will watch episodes when they get released.
Hey,
Who's the other one?
Pulse.
Make that
Pulse, when
three.
you're talking
Yeah.
about
The
lower
other,
center.
the other channel
I
is
need to
Brews
name
and
them
Views,
publicly?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I named it.
Thank you.
Honestly, so this is just me, and the second person is just a different process is Ben Horn. Just to see his very methodical process. I don't need all the fancy like try to get your YouTube. He's not so glitzy and glary and wants to get YouTube like whatever. But I appreciate Ben's photography. I also think it's such a different process. I think it's important to kind of like maybe dig deeper into a different style, a different approach to photography. Just to kind of influence me, who I'm very kind of ADD in the field. I'm very fluid. I don't like to sit on comps. I will move on.
I'm the same way. I would describe myself as like swift. Like I don't rush, but
Fluid.
I finish quickly.
Yeah,
I feel content quickly.
Hey, easy killer.
Always on. Boom, 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 boom. It's so funny. You know, I was just in Death Valley and I was driving towards Badwater, and there out there was Ben. And so I pulled the car over and said hi to him. We talked for a little while. He's a really nice guy.
Ben who?
Oh,
Ben Horn.
Ben Horn.
Oh yeah, Ben Horn.
like who we've been
One
talking
person
about.
you've been
last
talking
few
about.
weeks.
Large format camera and the vlog camera next
That's
to
why I like watching his YouTube videos, because I like seeing him lug all that heavy ass camera
Watch him
shit in the
struggle.
little slot canyons and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Simon, if you don't know his work, you should. It's his book is extraordinary. It's one of my favorite books.
It's really
It's definitely way above Eric Bennett's Conversations with Nature's book. It's like it sits on top of it. I'm joking.
Well,
Eric's book
if
is-
it's on top, then that's
your
the one
book is
collecting
one
all
of
the
my favorite
dust. So that
also.
mine stays nice and clean.
I think yours and his and one of Hans's are my favorite books. Honestly.
Well, you haven't seen my new book yet. One day you
that
will.
That shit better come soon, man.
Someday.
Keep it clean, Bolino.
I think, Mike, you said the word, to me that jumped out was the word dancing with this. It's that when I see this, I see human figures in those trees.
Or like the blow up things at like the car dealerships that are like,
Yeah, that too. Yeah. We're having a sale.
yeah.
And things just feel proportional. Like it just seems very comfortable within the frame. I can't really describe it any other way. It just feels very visually comfortable, and proportions are perfect.
And that's the type of thing, like, we've talked about this a couple of times. Like, we make photographs really kind of for other photographers. That type of thing, these nuances that you're pointing out, Mike, and Jim, like they're kind of lost on
The average Joe.
people that, yeah, exactly. But they can still appreciate the effect, right?
They like it,
can
but they don't
still
know
look at
why
this.
they like it.
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
we can like tease it apart and realize that he probably spent all sorts of time moving his tripod an inch here, an inch there, whatever. But yeah, so in a lot of ways, and with looking at a lot of his other work, he's kind of like a photographer's photographer because he's so good at that. And I think we can all appreciate the mastery that it takes to make these images that are kind of deceptively simple to, somebody who can't appreciate what goes into it.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think it's cool to like not only like seek out like pleasing the masses, but like also like go a step above and like also please your peers. That's always been like the most important thing to me. Like I want to impress the people that I'm like, head to head with or whatever, or like my equals or people that I admire. Like if I can impress them in return, like that's always
Keep trying. Someday
who's
you'll
our
get there.
audience? And in many ways, my audience is like you guys and like the
Yeah.
photographers who I really admire. Not that I'm trying to purposely impress them, but I guess I would hope my work in some ways they would appreciate. If the masses appreciate, of course, that's amazing. I love when people do reach out to me, but when someone who I admire reaches out, it just means a lot more, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how we like push each other too, in subtle ways, not,
yeah. You
just
push
kind
the
of
art
keep
for them.
advancing the craft. Yeah.
And I don't think it's about competition either. I mean, I think
No.
it's a
No, I agree.
genre. It's like an art. It's like a branch of competition. But like the way you described it, Mike, is like you're pushing each other. You see something, it sparks something that you agree, that your aesthetics agree with.
I
and
love
you
that.
Seek it out, and that's
I
the way
love
we
that.
influence each other and how the form evolves. Right. This is the cutting
Yeah.
edge of the form right here, in my eyes at least, and there's something to aspire to.
That's
Yeah.
bullshit,
Not that I
Mike.
want
I know
to
you think
so
you're the
much, it's
best.
just-
When I'm shooting with Bolino, he looks over at me and he says, "I fucking own you." It's weird,
Bitch.
but I appreciate it.
I do.
That's the thing.
I do.
I can't believe
Yeah.
he's saying this right now because that's
We
totally
finally made this
hypocritical.
show on air.
Yeah, I
Oh,
say,
doesn't he make you move his tripod for him too?
Yeah,
Paul?
I'm like,
He's
I'm
like-
like, I say to Bolino, I look back at him right in his eyes, and I say, maybe. That's it. I say maybe, but we're good, bro. And we just fucking move on, and we're
Right. He's like, what settings are you at? I'm like, go out yourself.
Bolino's my boy.
Yeah.
I
We've-
fucking love him.
Paul and I, we've done a lot. We've had some great times together.
Yeah, we fucked a couple
sure,
times.
dude.
Whatever. You do. Hey, maybe cut that shit.
Don't leave that
Not a
in.
chance.
Oh man,
I think-
do you have Chloe still? Never mind.
No,
To me,
Lena's
one
like,
of
hey, why you on my tripod holes? I'm like, you fucking got a better shot than I did. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
to me, one of the other elements that you guys haven't mentioned yet that stands out here is that in this photograph is that the trunk at the left seems a little bit aroused.
He's,
Fucking J-Rod.
he's a bender.
J-Rod.
Yeah.
J-Rod's coming strong to the hole tonight.
Yeah, this is a really nice image, though.
Yeah.
It is.
I want
I
to say
like it a
one
lot,
more
yeah.
thing.
You guys said
It
everything.
inspired a lot of
Well,
conversation.
man,
I want to
Polino
say
just
one
one
won't
more
stop.
thing too.
Another excellent book to recommend, though. I agree. It's a very
I'm gonna have to look into that. That's one I don't have. I'll definitely check that one out.
yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
It's really beautiful
Um,
work.
One more
Send me
thing
a
about
discount code, Simon.
process. Oh,
Just kidding. No.
just one more thing about like kind of like a process. Like we talked about how he was very intentional and deliberate with probably making sure everything was positioned the way he wants it, and how like I think myself and maybe Eric, you mentioned we were kind of more fluid, and that's something I struggle with. Is like, do I need to be more slow and deliberate and in my own work, and like that's something I kind of think about when I look at an image like this. Like, I would not have been able to come up with this exact composition because I was too, for lack of a better word, impatient, or
Mm.
maybe my creative process is a little bit more free flowing, more reckless in many ways, and so it's just food for thought. That's why looking at images, you always just kind of can reflect on your own work, and these are like kind of like a mentor image. This is definitely one of those mentor images where it's just like, what can I learn from this image about my own process and help me evolve a little bit.
That's a great point, and I love that term. I've never heard that.
What?
But like, yeah, that fits a lot. Like a mentor image, like that fits a lot of images that not a lot of images, but a handful that I see, and I try to do the same thing. It's a great concept.
I just feel like when I decide to photograph something, it's because like it calls out to me and there's like some kind of emotion that it elicits in me. And then like there's like this kind of countdown where like that slowly starts to drain. And then I'm ready to move on to the next thing. So like it's not that I rush or anything. It's just like I feel like content or satisfied or like ready like pretty quickly. I don't feel like, okay, I need to like sit here and like really dial this in, like, because I'm really more about the experience of being outside and doing photography rather than like the actual photographs, like the results. Because if I like see something that speaks to me and I have fun like engaging with it by pointing my camera at it and like zooming in and stuff and studying it, that's enough for me, even if a photograph doesn't come of it. So I don't know. I'm not saying that's not how it is for Simon, but I think it's just like that like bar like kind of slowly runs out. It runs out like at a different speed for different people, you know. I think it's not that I lose interest. It's just like something else will just call out to me like eventually, and then it's time to focus on that, you know. Like
Yeah.
I just see tons of stuff that really attracts
It's creative,
me.
dude. It's super creative.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I think like when Alex and Sarah and I think it was myself and our friend oh my gosh, what's the his name? They were discussing something very similar about how much time he spent with the subject. I was actually surprised at how much time they actually spent with it.
Yeah, Alex
And look at
Noriega
the
and Sarah
work.
Marino will spend like painstaking.
Yeah. And that's their process. And obviously it works for them. They get that
There's a
intrinsic
payoff, yeah.
value, that intrinsic value of going after scenes that way, where I kind of feel like I lose intrinsic value by kind of stopping that free flowing creative energy going on, kind of.
I feel like
It's a fascinating conversation to me.
yeah, I feel like the magic of the moment eventually disappears, and it's kind of like it becomes like sterile.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like the longer I work on something, like the worse the result becomes, because it's no longer like pure and it's like too analyzed, and it's like it's not pure, like this is what attracted me and this is how I saw it and I shot it this way. Like initially, I don't know, that initial reaction is always kind of the most pure exposure that I make of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good way of looking at it. And the experience becomes diluted a little bit. So it's like the inner experience and everything else. And
Yeah.
like And sometimes things are so perfect that there's like it's photographer forward. You can see the photographer just clearly imprinted on the image, and it's almost for me becomes too perfect. And
Right.
it's that fine line between perfection and free flow and everything else. And anyway,
And who knows? Maybe Simon spent 5 minutes with this scene and not 2 hours. You know, who knows?
yep.
Hard to tell.
Or,
That's like the
or I
fun
think
thing
he
about
also
like looking
does
at
come back
images.
to compositions for better. I could be wrong, but I think he comes back. Obviously, there's a foggy day, which is very much an added benefit to woodland
Agreed.
scenes.
Yeah.
And so maybe he knew this composition was there. He's like, okay, I can kind of maybe over a series of visits, he's worked this composition and kind of really can quickly put it together again. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's masterful. It's such a great image.
Yeah.
That's a really great image that you selected, Mike.
That's why he chose
I
it.
agree. Holy cow.
Who picked this?
So,
Fucking A.
Dude. I know. This
Fucking-
one.
This is so legit. I remember seeing this.
Yeah. This one blew me away. This is from Marc Denney, who I met at out of Oregon because we were paired up for 2 conferences back to back. So we were instructing together. Really cool guy, really nice. We hit it off, became friends, super chill. Very similar laid back approach to photography that I have, very relaxed and stuff, not like results driven or anything like that, just kind of spontaneous. And I think he photographed this like in Indonesia or somewhere in Asia, Southeast Asia. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like the subject matter all alone, like these kind of bayou looking trees, like in some like shallow water is really unique. Like I'd never seen anything like this before. And then just this composition here, like it's just insane how all the trees like look connected. And then the reflection's really nice. Like this is just it's just an insane photo.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it. I was blown away.
And I think the use of square format for it was perfect too. The 1-to-1, great call.
And there's another guy with a YouTube channel. So if anybody else wants to watch more stuff, he posts videos really frequently.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I remember seeing this one because it stood out in relation to his other, fairly recent work, and it definitely, stopped me as well. And I was just like, the lines in here are, are nuts. It's
So crazy.
Yeah, it's like otherworldly.
yeah.
It totally. I mean, it's.
Paul's speechless.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna do like an AI image and say, hey,
Right.
give me something that's perfect. It's that.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
you need a
Something
cigarette,
perfect and
man?
super strange and different and
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's
Original.
fucking. It's like just so perfect. It's like, fuck me. It's like
I've never seen other photographs of this set of trees either or anything like.
They are out there, but this is a really great, probably one of the best examples of it I've seen.
And I love like the
Sumba
soft
trees,
light,
what they're
like
called.
the clouds, like nothing
Sumba.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
you're
Sumba
right.
trees?
It is Sumba, yeah, in Indonesia. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, man, Mark is like another guy who's like fallen off my YouTube or my Instagram algorithm. 'Cause I haven't seen his stuff in a while, but yeah.
Yeah, he and I would
Awesome work.
get back to the hotel after taking our students out and drink a couple beers and just talk and decompress. And yeah, super nice guy. He's from North Carolina. He actually went to Burial because of my recommendation for like somebody's birthday party. And yeah, he said he really liked it. I think he lives in Asheville actually.
Yeah,
Or close.
I know he lives in North Carolina.
Ah,
Get him on.
it's so beautiful.
it's like something a kid would create in their imagination, but it's real.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You know,
That's
like-
really
like
good
Dr. Seuss.
representation.
What's that movie that came out with the tree,
Oh,
the tree of life, and they would, what's it called?
Avatar.
Saving Ryan's
Avatar,
Privates.
yeah, Avatar. I feel like that reminds me of those trees where they can kind of reach out and like intertwine and pass.
They
down.
feel alive, yeah. They feel like they're
Yeah.
interacting with each other and
Like it's almost like a community, like a little like group of people hanging out and talking.
Yeah.
There's almost even like maybe a little like Salvador Dali feel to it, the kind of lanky limbs.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, they feel very like warpy, kind of liquid, like.
It's just cool.
And I can't tell if they're like actually touching each other or if it's just his perspective here. But that's like an interesting component to think about. Like, why do these trees like grow towards each other, and like, what is the
what
benefit
causes
of
them
that?
to grow like that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because it looks like they're all connected. It's like individual trees, but they're shaking hands.
Yeah. Cool.
Wow.
Great image choice.
Yeah, really awesome. That he shared this one like sometime last year, so I always kind of had it on the back burner. But I was like, oh, this is a perfect episode to share this one because I knew it'd be super different from everything else.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Bad. That's
Made
the
it
last
through.
image.
Fucking great
Yeah.
images there. Jesus.
Oh my god,
I know.
so diverse. Yeah, jeez.
Good choices, guys. Good fucking choices.
Dude, that was such. It was such a good. Those were really great.
Potted pregame, guys, just so you know, like, he was out there.
Bolino and I,
Grand
Bolino
opening.
and I,
I should've
Bolino
gone
and I
too.
were, Bolino and I were wrecking it at like 11:30.
Yeah, he's had like 7 beers, 8 beers.
No,
Nine
like
beers.
fucking no, dude, like
Take your
12,
vitamins.
bro. 12.
Yeah.
And we're not
You're,
talking
you're
like
trying to. You're trying to
We're
beat
talking
the
like Bud
Andre the
Light.
Giant challenge.
Yeah, I got
Yes.
I got a freaking singlet on. I got a singlet on, and I'm freaking splitting the fucking eggs.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, like literally, the place opened up at 11:30, and you guys know how it goes. You can't fucking. You got to go with the time. You got to start with the 10.
Well, they got several
Good for
options.
one,
Like, you're not just
like
gonna try
4.
one thing.
Yeah, you got to go hard, and you guys are
Were they
counting.
doing taster sizes or like full pints for everything?
Fuck no, we're doing full pints, and you guys are counting on me.
Yeah. You got to do
We were.
your R&D limb.
Hey,
Damn,
bookmark
you're
that thought.
fucking-
Next grand opening, don't do an episode, or don't do back-to-back episodes at least.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we
guys,
absolutely
Yeah, but
should.
it's super fun.
No, that
guys
was
are
perfect.
count-
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
are counting on me.
Great.
We got to.
Deliver, dude.
It's I can't let the team down.
No, dude. For sure.
Never have, never will.
No, that's right. Can't stop, won't stop.
We can do without Mikey. Like he doesn't have to drink. He doesn't have to be here if
Yeah.
he doesn't want to. It'll still go on.
Yeah.
And
Skip out.
Jimmy's just.
Are you on call, Mike?
But
No.
All right, where are you best? Are we off there or we're not? We're still going.
we're still going, man.
Okay.
Still going, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy's
Hey,
power went out.
Polino, if
No,
you're
it's
staring, hey,
late.
Polino, if
Hey,
you're
I'll go
fucking
for an-
staring
I'll go
into
for
the
after hours,
sun,
dude.
we're
I'm heading
fucked.
over right now, dude. After hours. It's 7:45. There's plenty of night left, man.
Hey,
Oh,
get
head
up-
back to Brew House.
Let's
Come
go
over here.
downstairs to your outside seating area. We'll get some the heater going, and we'll drink some 12%ers.
hey, you get the fuck over here
Yeah.
right now. We are
Do
good
it.
to go.
Should
We got-
Sounds
totally
like a
do
perfect
it.
plan.
We got fights. We got fucking beer. Dude, my fridge is fucking balling.
Well, you got like
Mine's like
6
empty
more
right now.
4-packs coming your way, dude. From
Dude,
me.
my fridge is just like freaking J-Rod is like going, bumming your fucking fridge is bulging. I know it.
Bulging. Yeah, it's
Bulging.
not all that's bulging.
Yeah, that's how you say it. You just like, hey, I know Bennett's fridge right now is bulging. So
No, it's like empty.
It will be by
really?
the end of the week, man.
so
Well, I'm gonna deliver the brew host order from last week tomorrow. So
that
Okay.
citrus, dude, did that citrus, I had one
what'd you think?
yesterday and it was fucking great.
Mine was really good, but again, like it had that bitter in the back end. So that should age out, right, you guys?
Yeah. we
Yeah,
might take
yeah.
our-
It'll smooth.
we
So I kind of wait and be patient. That's
Give it like 2 weeks.
It's just green,
Yeah.
yeah. It did have a bite
think
to
by,
it
like-
last time I had it, but it was nice. It was pleasant.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That back
It
end bite.
made you want to go smoke a Marlboro Red.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
Camel no filter.
That Fiden's collab I thought was amazing too.
Yeah.
The Fiden's collab.
That one was
with
pretty good.
Brews, I thought it was pretty
Magister Ignis.
good. Yeah, I thought it was amazing for some reason.
For
I
some
have a
reason,
limited
it's
palate,
Fidens
though.
and Brewhouse. Yeah.
Fidens. Everything they touch is magic.
Yeah.
Who?
That West Coaster
Guidance.
ended up not hitting right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that it?
Well, yeah, I just stick to their hazy IPAs. That's what they do the best. But cheers, you guys. Good stuff.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, guys.
Have a good night. Good to see you all.
Adios.
Night, boys.
Are we closing it down?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Time to go to bed, Paul.
Call your wife.
Vitamins. Drink a glass of water.
You guys, here's the deal. when the fucking shit starts at like 11 o'clock,
Yeah.
I mean, that's another level.
Dude, you can't drink all day unless you start in the morning.
Mikey D.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cheers
fucking
to that
man.
motherfucker.
That's like
right there.
drinking
11?
science right there.
It's late, dude.